Hi, welcome back to Less Stress for You and I. This episode, we'll be talking about citizenship. Citizenship, the fact or the status of being a citizen of a particular place. The qualities that a person is expected to have as a responsible member of the community.
Let's briefly talk about citizenship, right? This is the class. Is that what it is? Some warrants?
You got warrants? Well, you're in the right place.
One person, that's all right. Then we can still throw you in there. Where do you want to be? Guys, don't worry. It's not about your handsomeness that we have. We want to see if there's content we can generate in this class.
What?
Group, I don't see any updates. You got to write updates this time. Okay, everybody, listen up, listen up.
Well, they're going to be affected somehow.
Okay, population, right?
Yes.
And what are the two areas?
Growth and urbanization.
Growth and urbanization. Good. Okay, and you are working on what?
I'm preparing an introduction,
Okay.
and then we're going to upload it to Google Docs, and then when we meet as a group later on, we'll take everything and pick apart which pieces of each study's going to recommend.
Okay. And so, yeah.
We got resources, food and water.
Okay. Food and water. Okay.
So far, we got our characters complete,
Uh-huh.
and we are going to start working on the main part of the paper.
Uh-huh.
We're going to talk about,
Everybody, listen up.
we're going to talk about in the past, food and water resources, present, kind of like the 20th century to now, and then future, where water and food resources are going.
Group 3. Yes.
We have technology, and our subtopics are transhumanism and biotechnology.
Transhumanism and biotechnology. Good. Okay. And how's that going?
Well, great. We have our Google Docs set up, and everybody's on it. We split up the subtopics, and then we have our intro started.
Right over here.
Yes.
Yep, so we're on track. We also split our subtopics, which are information technology, or social networking and information integrity,
Okay.
under the information heading.
Okay, good. Group 6. 5, 6.
Our topic is security.
Security. Okay.
Our subtopics are cyber warfare and hybrid warfare.
Oh, yes.
Thursday, Yahoo announced that its network was hacked back in 2014, and it was a big hack. At least 500 million users' names, email addresses, telephone numbers, birth dates, and passwords were stolen. This latest revelation of a high-profile breach linked to a state-sponsored actor is unsettling enough. But what could happen if an entire city, like New York, was hacked?
Our main topic is governance, failed states, and non-governmental organizations. We've set up our Google Docs and each posted a paragraph about the intro. We've found some articles that we can use. And,
Okay.
we've done research on the village code.
Everybody is still doing okay?
Yep.
Okay. So if you were to take your topic, right? If you want to tell me your what is cyber warfare and what?
Hybrid warfare.
And hybrid warfare. So if you take cyber warfare, let's take cyber warfare. So every country, it seems like there is some issue with this sort of this technology warfare that's going on.
The scenario starts with a single car on the West Side Highway, taken over by hackers.
If someone hijacks a car, what could they do?
A lot of things. If this SUV suddenly slammed on its brakes or suddenly veered to the left and hit another car, you could be talking about a pretty massive pileup.
That pileup brings traffic to a halt. Then the hackers get more aggressive on nearby highways and bridges.
It is possible to hack more than one car at one time. It'd be just as easy to make all the cars slam on the brakes as it would be just one vehicle.
as emergency crews respond to accidents, nearby hospitals prep for patients. That's when they realize they're locked out of their systems.
First, I want to talk about something that I find confusing, the difference between civil rights and civil liberties. Usually in America, we use the terms interchangeably, which adds to the confusion, but lawyers and political scientists draw a distinction, so you should know about it. Then you can go back to calling civil liberties rights and civil rights liberties, and most people won't care. But I'll care. I'll be disappointed in you. So civil liberties are limitations placed on the government. Basically, there are things the government can't do that might interfere with your personal freedom. Civil rights are curbs on the power of majorities to make decisions that would benefit some at the expense of others. Basically, civil rights are guarantees of equal citizenship, and they mean that citizens are protected from discrimination by majorities.
Reports suggest that Yahoo spied on its customers' email accounts for the government.
A 14-year-old kid from Argentina tapped into the NSA records recently, right? There are a 15-year-old kid from Arkansas tapped into Sony and busted out millions of records and made it public.
Secret surveillance program. It allegedly scanned hundreds of millions of Yahoo mail accounts at the request of the National Security Agency, or FBI.
And there's a guy who just threatened that he is tapping into Yahoo, right? 50 million records have been tapped into. So consistently you're hearing cyber warfare, cyber crimes being waged in our community. So if you look at the Village Road, wherever you are looking at, look to see how technology is filtering in that community, and to what extent is that community or the larger country that the community is a part of is part and parcel of this cyber warfare.
Which is very interesting, why the government went specifically to Yahoo.
So we know that they got the information, but we don't know why, and we don't know what they're going to do with it.
We don't know what they're going to do with that information. And of course, in Yahoo's defense, there are a lot of people who are fine saying we're willing to give up some privacy to help the government in its anti-terror operations.
FBI. The report is based on the accounts of anonymous former Yahoo employees. In a statement to CBS News, the company says this: Yahoo is a law-abiding company and complies with the laws of the United States.
As a high-tech industry, they have the Silicon Valley in India. But not everybody is benefiting from the Silicon Valley. People are moving out, moving away from villages, moving into bigger cities because technology allows them to have a higher income. We also know that many of the people from different parts of India are right here, our neighbors, right? You go to Eden Prairie, you have they are the third largest population, right? You have whites, you have Latinos, Somali community, and then Indians, Asian Indians, right? Because of the number, because that's considered a technology area in Eden Prairie. So they moved in. Knowledge departure, brain drain, villages are affected. Because when people come here, what happens to the communities that raise them, that depend on their income? Right, they lose out. Right, this is what we used to call brain drain, and it continues to happen still.
Nicholas Thompson is editor of the New Yorker magazine's website. It's newyorker.com, and joins us at the table to discuss. Boy, Nick, this sounds like a big deal. It's never happened before. How significant is it?
This is a very big deal. It's very intense, it's new, and it's quite surprising.
Because?
Because what's happened since the Snowden revelations a couple of years ago, Silicon Valley has been contesting most of the government's efforts to spy on it. What
advantage to commit crime. How terrorism is using cyber networks to fight warfare. And today you will see some of those things in today's lecture too. Right? So expand your horizon a little bit further.
What happened last year is the government went to Yahoo and said, hey, we want to spy on all the incoming mail to all Yahoo accounts. Will you build us something that makes it easy to do that?
So they created a special software.
They created special software that would scan every incoming Yahoo message for a certain phrase or keyword. We don't know what the phrase or keyword was, would store those in a special place for the government and did it in real time. That is real active cooperation. That's different and new.
And the question is, what world was the government looking for that would make Yahoo do this?
We have no idea.
you can be sure that today we live in a society and in a community during a period of time where there's so much of technology that is available, and it doesn't matter how small your communities are, it is still being infused by.
But the idea of a huge tech company like this aiding and abetting the government in surveillance.
Right. So what must have happened is the government must have come to Yahoo and said, this is legal, you have to do it under our authority, presumably under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Yahoo went to its lawyers, the lawyer said, hey, the government's right, let's not challenge it, let's do it.
Technology companies and others are really vying to enter and establish themselves there, because you have a whole continent of people average age of 25 to 30 years old. Very young population. Everybody wants the market. And they're also hearing about technology and using technology to access a lot of information and being involved in all kinds of trade. And in that process, lots of people are realizing that they can use the technology to take advantage of people.
His head of security didn't know about it. When he learned about it, he apparently resigned.
So we saw the NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden tweeting about this yesterday, saying that people with Yahoo accounts should delete their email accounts.
Think about how you are going to integrate these two topics into your village role, okay? So continuously expand your horizon, feel free to ask questions, go out there, do more research about how technology or cyber warfare is informing and affecting your communities.
Very bad PR for Yahoo. It comes at a very bad time because it comes right after the news about the huge hack. If you have a Yahoo account, it means, should we really be trusting the company to be working as hard as it can to protect our privacy?
And both Google and Microsoft said they had never received such a request.
Right. Saying we're willing to give up some privacy to help the government in its anti-terror operations. Clearly, Yahoo believed that argument, did not think it was putting its users at risk, or did not feel like fighting through the courts to defend them.
Thing that took place last week. Was it last week? Huh? It's this week. Dang, I forget. When was the day? The debate? Monday. Good. I'm glad y'all know. Right, so, what's going on with the debate? What's going on in politics for y'all? Okay. Drives you up the wall. Can you speak a little bit more about it?
Not publicly.
Not publicly, okay. No, don't worry. He's not gonna.
I don't know.
Show me your face.
Some of the topics that they discuss, it's like this has nothing to do with us.
Do understand what you're saying, but I'm also going to say everything they say and everything they're about to do will affect you.
Oh yeah, I know.
Will affect us. So if there's something wrong with that leadership, we have to speak about it because they're going to affect us. Right? At the end of the day, it will come to haunt us. Because you did not ask for the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war. A decision that was made back in 2003. Right? So whatever they do will affect us. Right? It might not affect us in the first 4 years, but it will come back. Right? It will come back to affect us. So thanks for sharing that though. How many of you feel that removed from politics? How many of you feel like you're removed? This is nothing to do with it. It's just two rich people fighting each other.
I want to be, but I know I'm not.
What do you mean?
Well, I know what they do affects us, but I think it's just a mental show, I guess. Neither of them should be president. They're doing that I know will affect us. But.
Yeah. Right? So in a strange way, about 100 million people watched the debate, right? And 100 million people purportedly watched this debate. And not just that, now you have a world audience that will also watch this. So it's more than 100 million people watched this around the world. Because when America sneezes, everyone else has a fluke, right? That's how powerful we are.
That's right, I'm back. It's Jimmy's Rage. Today, we're talking about citizenship, immigration.
Looking at immigration, we should make it as easy as possible for somebody that wants to come into this country and work to be able to get a work visa. And a work visa should entail a background check and a social security card that applicable taxes get paid. We should look at immigration as something positive. We are a country of immigrants. We should embrace immigration. By increasing immigration, we will become a robust economy, and that's according to the Wharton School of Business, as opposed to restricting immigration that would actually lead to less economic activity. Don't build a wall across the border. We will be on the wrong side of history with regard to that wall.
And citizenship, birthright and citizenship, citizenship and culture, dual citizenship.
Versus Baltimore, decided in 1833, the court said that the Bill of Rights applied to the national, meaning federal government, not to the states. They said that every American has dual citizenship, but not the good kind. They meant that you are a citizen of the U.S. and of the state in which you reside, and basically that the Constitution only protected you from the federal government. In other
qualifications for citizenship.
In the Civil War, as part of Reconstruction, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were added to the Constitution. Of these, the 14th is the most important, probably the most important of all amendments. What does it say? Well, the first section, which is the one that really matters, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, okay? It reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law.
Political participation by non-citizens.
The thing to remember is that going all the way back to the framers, Americans have been concerned about a too powerful government taking away citizens' freedoms. Yes, these liberties apply mostly to citizens, although some do apply to non-citizens too. In order to put limits on government, the Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution in 1789. But this didn't mean that those limits applied to the states, probably because the founders expected states to be the main protectors of rights.
Education and citizenship, corporate citizenship, citizenship influence in government. So with all that being said, what's the future? Well, again, this is Jimmy's Rage. I'm back. Glad to have you with us. For any other contacts, please contact us at morrismorris910yahoo.com. I'm out of here.
Personally believe this is the personal responsibility of every citizen, and that is to help your fellow citizens, because we're all countrymen. Now, your ethnicity might be different, you know, and your place of birth may have been different, but once you come here to our beloved country and you're striving for citizenship, you have obligations you have to meet. Now, these obligations some people may think to be strenuous, others may think to be lax. I can assure you most immigrants think them to be very difficult. Now, we are a nation of immigrants, and to sit and say that we don't want a particular type of people here for their religion or whatever else we may come up with in regard to why we don't want them here is actually oxymoronic and hypocritical to the Constitution, which is, you know, it says it on the Statue of Liberty, give us your tired, your poor, and your humble masses. Although we may have to change that sign, who knows. When we talk about citizenry, a lot of people tend to confuse that with patriotism. Now, if you are willing to die for your country, well, yes, you can be considered a patriot. But if you're willing to murder for your country, that doesn't make you a patriot, it makes you a murderer. And the difference would be, I guess it would actually just be if it's a state-sanctioned thing, you know.
About the next frontier in surveillance for the Atlantic, and he's here to tell us more. Matthew, good morning. Good morning.
The scariest part of this is that cameras are going to be invisible, essentially?
It looks that way. So they keep getting smaller and smaller. Already we have robots that can mimic animals. There's a drone that looks just like a hummingbird. There are various labs that are developing robots that can move like snakes. So they can mimic things that you might see in the natural environment, and they can carry cameras or microphones. And eventually they're going to keep getting smaller and smaller until you can't see them anymore.
Unhelpfully named Bill of Rights, which isn't even called that in the Constitution. It's just the name we give to the first 10 amendments. The 9th Amendment is included to remind us that the list of liberties and/or rights in the other amendments isn't exhaustive. There might be other rights out there, but the Constitution doesn't specifically say what they are. Thanks, Constitution. In some cases, it's pretty clear. The First Amendment, for example, says that Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or abridging the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or to assemble or to infringe the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. Pretty straightforward. But other cases are not so clear. The Second Amendment says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but it doesn't say by whom. Same thing with the Fifth Amendment guarantees against self-incrimination. Could Congress force you to incriminate yourself? How would they do that? And the Eighth Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishments, like presumably shock pens. But it doesn't say who is forbidden from cruelly and unusually punishing.
Because of the nature of that integrative world that we live in. So, yes, you're right, you get frustrated with this, what did you say, monkey show? Is that how you described it? Right, yeah. Unfortunately though, it's not the show that matters to me, it's the content. It doesn't matter what party we belong to, it's just that we have to have certain integrity about this process. And I don't know how much of that was present, right? At least on one side of the podium it was less present as opposed to the other side. Other thoughts? Other thoughts?
The 2016 U.S. presidential race is inching closer to the finish line, with Democrat Hillary Clinton and Republican Donald Trump presumed to be the party's nominees. But a May 2016 poll suggested that more than half of Americans are dissatisfied with Clinton and Trump, leading many to look towards a third option.
About politics in general, about this debate, about this election. Because in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, is that right?
Do you think that the third party has a chance this time? Because of, I'm hoping so. That's what I'm.
Okay. Right, and so there are a lot of sentiments about the third party now. A lot of people are trying to find out who the third party candidates are. And so
So who are some of the third-party candidates? Well, among them is Tennessee-based attorney Darrell Castle, who represents the Constitution Party. Similar to the Tea Party movement, the Constitution Party is based on the idea that the U.S. has moved away from its core values laid out by the Founding Fathers. The party promotes limited government, low taxes, broad individual freedoms, and laws that align with Christian values.
If this country is going to have a chance of even recognizing a third party, there has to be a lot more intentional research. We had a viable third party in the 90s.
But those on the ideological left may be more apt to go for Green Party nominee Jill Stein. Stein is a Harvard Medical School graduate and has a political focus on public health and the environment. Stein has promised to address climate change and create renewable energy jobs through a so-called Green New Deal, a play on FDR's New Deal initiative to rebuild America after the Great Depression. The plan would cut military spending by 50% and increase taxes on stock market speculation and multi-million-dollar real estate purchases. When Stein sought out the White House in 2012, she won nearly 500,000 popular votes.
But it just sort of fizzled out.
I don't even think it's the country that doesn't recognize it. It's the other two parties in the media. Sure. They don't recognize it at all.
Yeah.
They just go, we got a two-party system, that's the show.
Yeah. Right.
Instead of like, no one else can join the show.
Sure.
You're either one or the other.
Yeah.
You can't be anything else.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate reality because we've been trained, right? And we all define ourselves either I'm a Democrat, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, I'm a liberal. When did you become? You were never born that way.
The most popular third-party nominee is former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson. Johnson represents the Libertarian Party, which is the third largest political party in the U.S. It promotes itself as more culturally liberal than Democrats and more fiscally conservative than Republicans. As such, libertarians have been known to favor lower taxes, gun rights, same-sex marriage rights, and ending the war on drugs.
A prominent question, especially when we feel like we're in a hopeless situation, we tend to ask. There've always been this question, right? There've always been this question about third party, but it has never gotten off the ground primarily because as a community of voters, we never really pay much attention to that. It takes time to build a party.
Johnson has marketed himself as a leader who would slash public spending and balance the budget. During his 2 terms as governor, Johnson reduced taxes 14 times and cut state spending by vetoing nearly 750 bills, earning him the nickname Veto Johnson. Johnson ran for president in 2012 and won over 1 million votes, more than any third-party candidate since 2000, and in fact, more than all the other third-party candidates combined in 2012. But that's only about 1% of the popular vote, and third-party candidates need at least 5% to even make it on the ballot for the following election and to gain access to federal funding. The last viable third-party candidate was in 1992, when Ross Perot received nearly 20% of the popular vote. And yet, even then, he got 0 electoral votes nationwide. Clearly, the current election system favors...
G'day.
With that, I'm out of here. We got 2 years before we can vote again, and we still can change things, just like they're gonna change things. Maybe we can change things back. Here at Less Stress for You and I, we're always looking out for you. We're always watching out for you.
'Cause it's Christmas. Right? It's Christmas. We at Less Stress want to wish you the very happiest of Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, well, happy Kwanzaa, happy Passover, happy holidays. From Jimmy and I at Less Stress, we want to wish you a very, very happy Merry Christmas.
You know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Oh, don't skin that cat. Just get back. There's always a possibility. There's always future opportunities. So, hey, if you didn't vote last time, hey, vote this time. Let's vote for the Senate and for Congress. And we'll get the right people in the right place to make the right decisions. Because you know what? The president doesn't make all the decisions. They have to be approved. And you know who have to be approved by? They have to be approved by the Senate and by the Congress. So, hey, we got a second roll of the dice. Shake, 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 shake it. Throw them up. Ah! We'll see. Right now, the dice are in suspended animation. Got 2 years. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.